There's this person you know, smart, funny when they're comfortable, good to talk to one-on-one, but somehow they're always slightly on the outside, never quite in the inner circle. Plans happen without them. Opportunities go to someone less qualified. People like them fine, but nobody fights to keep them close. And if you're being honest, you already know who I'm describing. Nobody sat down and decided to exclude them. There was no meeting, no vote. It just happened, naturally, like gravity. Because that person has been sending a message for years, through every room they walk into, every group they join, every conversation they have, and they have absolutely no idea they're sending it. That message isn't about what they say. It's quieter than that, and it's way more damaging. Okay, here's something specific. You're in a group. Someone makes a bold statement, maybe a slightly controversial opinion, something with an edge to it. Watch what happens. Half the room does this tiny thing, this almost invisible thing. Their eyes move just for a split second to whoever they perceive as the most important person in that group, just to check, is this okay to agree with? Are we laughing or not? They don't know they did it. It takes less than a second, but it happens, and here's the brutal part. The person they all looked at, that person didn't look at anyone. They just responded, from their own read of the moment. That's the difference, right there, in 1 second, between someone the room follows and someone the room manages. Which one were you? Last time you were in that situation? Actually, don't answer that, because most people don't know. That's the point. The signal is invisible to the person sending it. Let me give you something more uncomfortable. The follow-up text. You send a message, normal message. Could be anything. Making plans, asking something, reaching out. They don't reply in 5 minutes. So you send another one. No rush if you're busy. And maybe another. Just whenever. Here's what you think that communicates. I'm considerate. I'm not demanding. Here's what it actually communicates. I already don't trust that I'm worth replying to. You pre-apologized before they even had a chance to respond. You told them, before they formed an opinion, that the message probably wasn't that important, so they filed it accordingly. Not because they're cruel, because you gave them the filing instructions. That's not an isolated thing, by the way. That's a pattern, and patterns are what people actually respond to. Not individual moments. Patterns, the accumulated picture. The person who always agrees, who laughs a little too fast at things that aren't funny, who changes their take based on whoever spoke most confidently in the room. Individually, harmless. Fine, but the picture those behaviors build over time? That picture says, this person doesn't fully trust their own ground. And people, again, without deciding to, they treat you according to that picture. Less consultation, less honesty, less of the real conversations. Not cruelty, just calibration. There's a version of this I want to sit on for a second, because it's the one that gets missed. The person who's too easy to be around. You know the type. Always upbeat, never difficult, no strong opinions, super agreeable, the social lubricant of every group. And on the surface, lovely, genuinely lovely person. But here's what quietly happens. People stop bringing them the real stuff, the messy conversations, the things that actually matter. Not because they don't like them, because somewhere, unconsciously, they've read the signal. This person needs things to be okay. And when you sense that someone needs things to be okay, you don't bring them the things that aren't. So the agreeable person ends up in this strange position where they're liked by everyone and truly known by no one. They optimized so hard for being easy that they accidentally made themselves shallow in other people's perception. And they wonder why, despite being surrounded by people, something still feels distant. That distance has a name. It's not loneliness exactly. It's the specific ache of being in the room but not really in it. You've felt that. In a group where everyone's laughing and you're laughing too, but there's this layer of glass between you and the moment, present, not quite there. That glass isn't bad luck. It's made of signals, accumulated over time. Here's where it gets a bit harder to hear. The silent message isn't just sent through what you do, it's sent through what you never do. Never push back when you disagree. Never show specific, real enthusiasm for something that's distinctly yours. Never let anyone see you annoyed, or thrown off, or genuinely unsure. That level of control reads as distance, because realness, actual human realness, has edges. It has moments where things land wrong and your face shows it. It has opinions that are inconvenient. It has preferences that aren't designed for approval. Correction. Not everyone does this, but enough people do it enough of the time that it reshapes how they're perceived entirely. When everything about you is managed, people stop trusting that any of it is true. They can't connect to a performance, even a very good one. And look, this isn't about being raw or oversharing or making everything heavy. It's about legibility. Simple version, can people actually read you? Not your moods. You, the actual person. Do they feel like there's something real in there with real stakes and real reactions? Or do they feel like they're getting the version of you that's been approved for public release? Because the second one, however polished, keeps people at arm's length. Always. Okay. Different thing. This one's specific. Think about the last time someone asked for your opinion and you said, I mean, I could see it either way or whatever you think or some version of that. Why did you say that? Not because you had no opinion. You had one. You just decided in that split second that offering it wasn't worth the risk. Risk of what? Being wrong? Being judged? Disrupting the vibe? Doesn't matter. The calculus happened, and you chose neutral. And the person asking? They registered it. Maybe not consciously, but somewhere they noted, this person won't give me a real answer. Do that enough times and you become the person people stop asking. Not because they don't respect you, because they've learned that asking doesn't get them anything they can actually use. You made yourself optional. One non-answer at a time. Where was I? Right. The accumulated picture. Here's what's actually terrifying about this. You don't build a reputation in big moments. You build it in the 100 small ones that nobody's paying attention to. The way you handle being interrupted. Whether you follow up or let things slide. Whether you hold your take or fold when someone pushes back. Nobody's watching and scoring those moments, but everyone's absorbing them. And the absorption builds a version of you in their head that determines everything. What they tell you, what they offer you, whether they think of you when something matters. That version of you, the one living in other people's heads, was built by signals you never intentionally sent. And it might look nothing like who you actually are. So the question isn't really about tactics. It's not speak more firmly or stop texting twice. The question is, what belief is generating all of this? Because these signals don't come from nowhere. They come from one place. The quiet background belief that who you actually are, unfiltered, unmanaged, with real opinions and actual reactions, that version of you is too much, or not enough, or both somehow. And so you edit. Constantly. Automatically. Before anyone even asks you to. And the edited version walks into every room sending the same signal on repeat. I'm not sure I'm supposed to be here. Rooms believe what you tell them. The people who never got excluded, who never found themselves on the outside looking in. They weren't more talented, more attractive, better with words. They just never learned to make themselves small. Not because life was easy for them. Because somewhere, somehow, they held on to the unedited version of themselves long enough that it became natural. Long enough that walking into a room stopped feeling like an audition. And when that happened, people felt it, without knowing why. They just wanted to be near it. So, the group that drifted, the conversations that stayed surface, the opportunities that somehow went to someone else, none of that was random. It was a response to a message. The real question isn't whether you can change the signal. It's whether you're willing to find out what you've actually been saying.